Welcome to the Conversations with Cousins podcast. I am JL the Dab King.
And I'm Tyler.
I'm T-Butter.
Guys, welcome to the podcast. If you're new here and you're into podcasts, please stop what you're doing. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us so much more than you know. Again, we definitely appreciate you guys coming back to watch us every week.
Yep. So this week I wanted to switch it up a little bit and not, well, just more of an open conversation, I'd say. Not lock in the topics. I told everybody, choose a topic that you will be comfortable talking about and surprise us.
Yep, and we're definitely excited to do that. Like Josh said, we're trying to switch it up from last week, or just try to switch it up and not keep everything exactly the same each podcast episode. So
keep this podcast more like life, free flowing.
Yeah, more like us. We're pretty free flowing.
Yeah, I don't do good with the schedule. I'm late to everything. I was late to this podcast.
And he lives here.
And I live here. So, who wants to lead off?
Well, I will actually start us off this time, guys. So, obviously, 2020 has definitely been a year to remember, more negatively than positively, and that's unfortunate. But I was thinking today, while at the gym, on the treadmill, what has happened in 2020 that is good, because you don't hear much good out of 2020. So I had a list here that I'll kind of go down.
All right.
So, a 103-year-old grandma beat COVID-19 and celebrated with a Bud Light.
Hell yeah,
That's
dilly dilly.
cool, right?
Dilly dilly.
On a side note on that, our grandfather actually got COVID-19, and he's 84, so he's not what he would call a spring chicken. But
Right.
But yeah, we're definitely thankful that he made it through that as well. Although it was not good, it was definitely a struggle. But drive-in movie theaters have made a comeback. I didn't really think about that until I saw it, but that's kind of true. With COVID going on, with the regular movie theaters being closed, there's been a lot of drive-ins. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's something that I think is cool and nostalgic from, the 50s, 60s era that our grandparents lived. And I just think it's cool that it's something that's going on now, too.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yep. Here's one that I actually didn't know. Certain restaurants shared the recipe so they could be made at home now.
Sharing is caring.
But do you know what I thought in that, though? Me and Josh love Carrabba's.
Yes, we do.
Why we should have hit up Carrabba's, dude.
Right.
And got their chicken parmesan recipe. I would like to have that.
Man.
We actually got a new social media powerhouse too. Technically it wasn't new. TikTok's been out, I think, for a few years, but it really blew up in 2020 and made it more prevalent. So I thought that was something interesting, because before TikTok got really big, it was just Facebook and Instagram, and that was basically your two main, and Twitter, and those were your main social media platforms. But now TikTok,
Right.
although 90% of it is girls half naked, but
Their algorithm, though, is pretty neat, though.
Their
So
algorithm
if
is
you don't
easy.
watch it, you don't
Right.
see it, really.
Right.
Most cases.
right, and their algorithm, like, I posted a couple videos, and on what, like, a YouTube 80,000 views is hard. A TikTok 80,000 views, not hard. It's really
Right.
not. But I thought that was interesting. And lastly, with toilet paper out of stock, bidets have made a boom, ladies and gentlemen. Bidet
I have
sales are
one.
out of the roof.
I have one.
Yes,
Not installed yet.
not yet.
It's-
He's definitely gonna do a review here on the podcast.
I am prepared, though. If there is a shortage,
He's not going to be stranded up.
my butt will be clean.
Exactly.
There you go. But those were just the 5 that I had. I read a lot of others, but those were not necessarily even the most notable, just the ones that I thought would be cool to bring up on the podcast. If you guys had anything cool out of 2020 happen, drop down in the comments, let us know. We always like to hear from our viewers.
Yep. Awesome. Those are some pretty cool facts. Would you like to go next there, Trevor?
Sure.
Would you like to discuss further?
Well, what? So those are just some of the cool things that have happened in 2020. The positive things that have happened.
Yep. Yep.
I didn't know that about like driving movie theaters, specifically like making a comeback. Cause
You good?
so before 2020, I really didn't go to the movie theaters much anyway. So me not going to the movie theaters this year really didn't make a big impact on me. But for somebody, I do know some people that really love going to the movie theaters every weekend. I can see where they would like that whole drive-in movie theater coming back.
Yes.
Has anybody been to the theater in the last 3 years?
I have, but I've also been in a relationship in the
The
last 3
last-
years. It makes a difference.
Last movie I went to was Uncle Drew.
Is that about Kyrie Irving?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was his movie, and it was awesome.
That's
Guys,
pretty cool.
if you
I'll be
haven't
honest, I
seen
don't
it,
know a
check it
ton
out.
about Kyrie Irving, but I don't really follow basketball really much at all anymore. I used to back when the NCAA games, you could still play those. That's how I kept up with my basketball.
But no, the movie is Uncle Drew is his alter ego, where he dresses up as an old man and goes to these outdoor courts and starts dunking and just balling on these
Oh,
guys.
dude, I
And
love videos like that, but it's like a movie style.
he brought along like other basketball players, legends, and they wrote a whole movie. It's a really good movie.
That's pretty
though.
cool. As far as that goes, though, dressing up as old men, there's been a few other people do that on YouTube too.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot the one dude's name. Big Dolls TV. He did one. He didn't dress up as an old man. He went as a nerd, but he crushed it, dude. That dude can shoot.
Yeah.
He can shoot, dude.
Yeah, he seems like a cool dude. His videos are pretty cool.
Yeah, I
But
like him.
Bad Grandpa also was the king of dressing up as an old man, old Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, true. With his balls hanging out.
Don't step over this line.
Which line?
This line right here. Uh-oh, you did it.
Done went too far.
So, yeah, we, at Conversations with Cousins podcast, we are just giving you a little positivity in this awful year.
Yeah, it's been pretty crappy. In more ways than not. Not just the virus, but everything being shut down has affected certain people in their jobs, including me this year and Trevor as well.
Yes.
So that's been unfortunate.
But going back to so we really didn't. Movies didn't affect us. I mean, it's been a couple years since we went and actually sat down in a movie theater
Yep.
regularly. But so I could see where that's coming. The nostalgia from that will be pretty cool. But yeah. But going on to the, are you wanting to talk some more about positivity things that happened this year, Drew?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. The biggest positivity that I have gained this year would be quality family time. I get a good dose of quality time with my dad through go-kart racing, and
That's true.
I think that's what I would be most thankful for this year.
That's good.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
You also got a promotion this year.
I did get a promotion and part ownership, 10% owner in CK Packaging Solutions. Hit us up if you need any packaging solutions. We are your people.
Mhm.
Let's go.
To hit on your quality time thing, I think we could all really, if you get used to it after a while, you don't really sit down and appreciate it. But I really did get a lot of time with our grandparents this year. Even though our grandpa got COVID, and so did our grandma, but she's a fighter too.
They
but,
both are.
They're both great. I don't know. They're both. They don't quit. That's for sure. But I got to spend a lot of time with them this summer, just doing odds and ends around the house with them, which was, it. Looking at it at the time, it was, God, they want me to do something else. Something else has got to be fixed. But now looking back, I'm glad I got to do that with them because that was really good quality time.
And those days are numbered,
Mm-hmm. I mean, both of them are in their 80s.
unfortunately. But
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But I am really thankful for the time that I got to spend with them this year.
right.
But you got anything else, Drew, that you were thankful for this year?
I
Or
think,
you good?
think that's I would say that's it for me.
I'm thankful for us three all hanging out as much as we have this year. We've never really hung out as much as we have this year. Me and Josh have, and me and Trevor have separately, but collectively,
Right.
we haven't really hung out.
The age gap was always a
Yeah,
big.
because
I mean, there's
Josh
10
is
years
Josh is the
almost.
oldest. Josh has got, you're what,
29.
3 years older than me, 4 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Josh is 29. I'm 25, about to be 26, and
I'm 22.
about to be 26 in April. Just gotta let y'all know that, guys. Okay,
Alright.
it's not really as close as what it was in my head, but and Trevor is 23, so there's like it
22,
steps
be
down.
23 next
So when
year.
Josh got old enough to start driving and hanging around, I started hanging out with him. But Trevor was the oddball because he was still quite a bit younger.
I hadn't matured enough to be able to hang out with the cool kids. And I
Yeah.
understand that now. Like, whenever I was that age, I didn't want to hang out with anybody younger than me. So, I mean,
Right,
but
it seemed like that's kind of how it goes. But
you grow out of it, though. I mean,
yeah.
8 years means a lot more when you're talking teenage years.
Yes.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
Mhm.
totally agree with that. We're talking about an 18-year-old to a 10-year-old. So
Right.
there's a big
That's
gap
a huge difference, more than 30 and 22.
oh
Right.
yeah, it's a big difference. Maturity-wise, you grow a whole lot in
And
between
just
there.
you're just at different points in your life.
Mhm.
there. Right,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
But yeah, I am thankful for the friendships in between all of us that we've gotten this year. I think we've all grown to know each other a little bit better this year. And
Yeah,
I
Oh,
think
for sure.
And I think it's funny. Like, there's some things that get on each other's nerves, but it's pretty cool to see us all. We all have our own personalities, and it's pretty cool to see all those mingle in a
Well,
daily.
family's always going to do little things happen.
Right.
Oh yeah. But,
It's how it crumbles.
mhm.
Yeah, the thing about family too is though, and this goes especially for me and Trevor. When me and Trevor have any sort of spat, like we'll go down each other's throats, boy.
Oh yeah. Oh,
But like 15 minutes.
yeah, we're good. Again. It's
Most
just
of the
like
time. Most of the time.
yeah, most of the time. And if anything, it's like one day later we've just separated and we come back and we're just fine. And it's like, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. All right, we're good.
Not that we actually even had to say you're all right.
We just go back into giving each other hell again, and it's just a wonderful cycle.
Right, and that's another
A
funny thing
beautiful
about
cycle of
the
life.
three of us. We always talk crap to each other
Oh, yeah.
constantly. I feel like that's all cousins, guy cousins, probably girl cousins too.
Well, growing up in my house, if you weren't a smartass, your feelings would have been hurt.
That's
A
true.
lot, guys.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
It's a form of dealing with things because both of my parents are smartasses.
Oh yeah, it comes from the top. Both of mine are too, especially my dad.
Right.
Mhm.
Even further than that, my grandparents, all of them are smartasses.
Right.
Not so much my grandpa Hillis is not,
Right.
but
As he's gotten older, he
Yeah.
has became more.
yeah, but there's just a difference in him and
Oh,
my,
Right.
oh yeah, for sure. It's how he states things. But yeah, it's funny though. But yeah, growing up around our family, every one of our family is sarcastic. Both of their moms were sarcastic. My dad was just weird. He hadn't.
He's still.
he's a little girl.
No comment. I'll just put it this way. Aunt Karen used to always call him a dork, and that used to fit like a glove to my dad. But
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He was the guy who, like, when you were younger, or when they were young, actually, even when he got older, too, he had a dirt bike, and all of his other friends, I think, had dirt bikes, too, and they would ride up this hill, and Tim was always too scared to ride up it, so he just wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just little stuff like that turns into being a chicken.
Yeah,
Right. That
I got a
turns
lot
you-
of those traits that from him, and to be honest,
I
y'all
broke
too.
you of a few of them.
I
Y'all
did
two have-
not.
You've helped me come out of my shell a whole lot more this year too, Drew. But Tyler helped me break all those like little fears, a lot of them, by he would just have that carefree attitude. But I think he gets that from his mom and his dad were both very just do it and ask for forgiveness later type of personality.
That's the way to go. Josh was, too.
And Drew is. Well, what would you say your parents was?
You know what? I think a fun story that the viewers would like to hear.
We're gonna get into a little rafting story here from
Right.
Father's Day a couple years ago.
Oh, it was actually, I don't know. How many years ago was it, actually?
It was a few.
I was. Hold on, let me think. I'm trying to think of. I remember getting home
It's probably been about 6 years ago, honestly.
You
I had
guys,
to be around like 23.
You were hanging out with Josh Styles at the time, so you would have been living at Beaver.
Little Beaver.
Little Beaver.
What year was that?
I don't know. It really doesn't matter. It was like
2015.
Yeah,
2014.
maybe 2014.
I think it was 2014 because that would have been my sophomore year, and we just moved into this house that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But anyways, we went on. It was Father's Day, and me and Trevor and Josh and another guy named Josh. We were all hanging out, and we had a Father's Day grill out or barbecue, whatever, down at the lake. Everybody had already made it down there, but us.
Yep.
So we decided to go by Walmart and buy rafts.
Yes.
We got 2 rafts.
And not nice rafts either, guys. I mean,
no, they're pretty much the basic raft that you're gonna get from Walmart, and you gotta blow up with a hand pump. So.
These were cheap little like pool rafts too. Like they were like inflatable. Like
they were still looked like rafts. They weren't like kiddie pools.
They were pretty.
The rafts weren't the problem.
Well, all right. So we had what was there? There was 4 of us. We're all pretty good size.
There was more than 4.
No, there was
us.
5.
Perry, yeah, my boy.
Perry went. There was 5 of us.
I'm gonna have to send the link to this video to Perry because he'll enjoy hearing.
Perry was there. We got the 4-person and a 2-person. I think.
No, 1 person. It was a single.
It was a single.
Yeah.
Because whenever it might have said 2-person, but it was a single. It was small.
Well, weight wise,
it was a single.
For any of us, it would have been a single.
So, we get down to the water. We finally get down to the lake, and
well, first of all, once we got to the lake, it took us about an hour and a half to pump these things up with a pump that we have. And the pump was really the trashiest part of this because, like, when you push down on it and it gets real tight. This was so cheap. It not only it would bleed, but the handle would bend.
Right. Yeah.
And then he broke it. He broke the handle. So that was fun. And so we finally get these up. We ended up blowing mine up manually without a pump.
So we get in the water.
Oh gosh.
We get in the water, and the multi-person is doing just fine, paddling along.
Do you remember what happened? What you had in a bag?
Oh yes. Rest
in
peace to
all
an
of
iPhone
5S or something.
Yeah.
Our only phone that we had, Josh had. We all left our phones on shore or back at the
because Josh had a life proof on his.
Yes.
And so they're all. And now let me mind you, at this time I was probably just turned 16, if not even turned 16 yet, and I was a chunky 16.
Phones were not water resistant at this time.
No,
at all.
No. And so they put me in a raft by myself, and there's 4 of them up there rowing, and me by myself, and they had me this long shaft with an oar on each end.
Trevor really had it easier, I think.
Yeah,
I really do. It's hard to
orchestrate.
It's hard to orchestrate everybody paddling at once versus one person, but you still couldn't handle it. You kept rolling around in circles.
Let me mind you this: I offered for one of them to hop in the single man, and I would hop in with somebody else, like in the 4-man, and help row. No, you're doing good. You're doing good. I end up getting so far back, they have to double back around, hook up to me. We throw my raft out. Now there is 5 of us in this raft that's only supposed to hold 4, and we are way over maximum weight. This thing's like canoeing up.
Yeah.
And water starts coming in as we are starting to go just out farther and farther.
We did make it though.
We made it to the tiles.
Yeah, the tiles. So what if you don't know what the tiles are at Baden Lake? This is North Carolina. Baden Lake, North Carolina.
Come on out to the sticks, homie.
Yeah, come on out, meet me out at the lake. How about that? But
you heard me.
But there's a train trestle at Baden Lake in North Carolina, and right by the train trestle, which you can also jump off of that, but we didn't. We would have been easier spotted at this point.
That would have that would have been a full day trip to the train.
Yeah.
Oh,
tracks. Yeah. So anyways, we got to the tiles, and they're like this elevated tiles. I don't know how else to explain it.
That's where the bridge used to be. And
yeah.
So they've moved the bridge.
It's like a huge retaining wall, essentially.
Right.
So it was the original retaining wall for the bridge.
But it's like massive. It's not like a little house retaining wall. It's, I don't know, 15, 20 foot tall.
Yeah, at least 15, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a 100-foot drop or even a 50-foot drop, but it was big.
It looks
for
once
us.
You get up there.
So we all get up there, and we all jump off, and Trevor gets up there, and he will not jump.
Mm-mm.
So we're all, antagonizing him.
We've jumped 3 times.
Yeah. I mean, dove off, not just...
Right. Like, it's clearly deep enough. People do this all the time.
Like,
Right.
all right,
It
so,
had been tested. He was good to go.
okay, at this point, my brain was thinking, sitting there on top, looking down, okay, I'm bigger than every one of these guys jumping. How deep is it off the end here? That's all I wanted to know. Has anybody got close to touching bottom? And nobody would answer me, no, you're not going to touch bottom. You're not going to touch. So in my head, I didn't know how deep it was. And it was driving my anxiety crazy. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like,
Trevor
okay.
expected us to have a daggone meter stick over there
No,
measuring
but
it
when-
out. I mean,
When you dive down, you know that when the water gets colder, you can kind of tell how deep you are.
I disagree
knew it was
with
deep
that.
enough.
I disagree with that. You can't tell how deep you are. You can tell that you're
Deeper.
how far you are from the top.
Right.
Yeah, so like I know, all right, if somebody's went plumb down into the cold, they are at least over, I would say, probably 5 to 6 feet. So
We
okay,
are the
there-
worst at getting
So I
sidetracked
have-
on stories.
I have bad
We're getting there,
anxiety.
guys. All right.
But I have bad anxiety. But the point Tyler was trying to get at is, it took me forever before I finally jumped. And then once I finally jumped, I did it like 2 more times, and I was like, oh crap, guys, it looks like it's starting to get dark.
And what did we say?
It's fine. We got plenty of time.
Screw it.
Screw it.
I'll be all right.
Well, what
It's
happened
not that
was,
dark. It ain't gonna take but just a few minutes. A few
No
minutes
phone.
to get
No,
around the corner.
remember, no phone.
because
Yeah,
at this
yeah,
point
true.
on the way over, the
Father's
raft had
Day.
done canoed up, water had came in. We're sitting there in what was a rectangle, now trying like just straight up V with all of us sliding into each other trying to get there. And
No
so-
life jackets either. That's
Yeah.
what really. That's what really. When our family gets tied into this, that's
No
was the
lights,
kicker.
nothing. We didn't have a flashlight on us. I mean, we're just going off of our bare eye. And I'm like, guys, it's starting to get dark. I'm starting to see the sun. Like, it's barely at the top of the trees. And I know we've got a 45-minute paddle back. And I'm just...
at that
at me.
easiest. Yeah.
That's if we get with the current, not if the current's coming at us. And I'm like, all right, guys, we're probably needing to start going. They're like, no, it's good. We got plenty of time. Well, finally, it gets dark. And we haven't even started back.
dark.
And we haven't even got off this rock yet to get back down to the raft and go. And so we start going back, and Josh is like, I wonder what, and because at this point we didn't know that the phone wasn't working. We thought the phone was just fine. We hadn't paid any mind to it. And so we finally start looking, and Josh starts thinking to himself, let me check my phone and see if anybody's called. Well, he starts getting it out, and he's like, guys, I'll just let you tell it, Josh.
I can't remember exactly. I just remember, saying, that explains why we haven't gotten any phone calls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we did eventually make it back. Our whole family was back.
Oh,
At
they
the
saw,
beach.
they didn't see us, but we were hearing them because,
No, they were hearing us, I think, because we were singing
We
something.
saw
we were-
them.
we saw them
remember,
and
we could
heard
see
them.
them when we made the little turn there.
Yeah, and us, we really didn't think that they were mad at us at that. I didn't. Not really that mad.
So we,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Drew.
I was just throwing that in there.
I was just thinking, okay, they're waiting on us. Cool.
Right.
Like,
That was my thought
You're
exactly.
gonna help us drag this raft up.
I
And it
knew
did
they were
not go
upset.
that way.
I knew they were upset whenever, because if you remember, your mom and Grandpa were down at the beach, because where this was at was Baden Resorts off of Baden Lake.
There's a beach area. at
and
the
there's
lake.
like a little man-made beach area where families come and play. Well, his Aunt Karen and Grandpa were up on the beach hollering. Well, then I look over at the docks when we're coming by, and remember my dad was out there on the end of one. Boys, boys, is that y'all? Boys? And then they all flocked to the beach. Oh, God, it was so bad. They were hollering. Where have y'all been? If
We're
none-
laughing now, but in their eyes, we had drowned. Which, looking back, there have been a lot of deaths on the lake with us. No lights, no life jackets, no nothing.
I
It didn't help that we were singing. I just can't remember what we were singing.
It was some sort of pirate song,
Like,
if I remember right.
probably so.
We were all jolly and everything.
because we thought they weren't mad at
We
first.
just
Yeah,
had
we
the
were just
time
having a
of our
good time,
lives.
dude. It was awesome,
Yeah.
right?
We were free for,
Yeah.
23 years old. It was just like no phone,
Nothing.
just
It
on
was
the
just us
water.
chilling. The boys cutting up with each other. You know, just that that kind of thing going
And
on.
the switch immediately to is
Really
they're
bad.
mad.
Yeah.
Mad.
I mean,
like
I
probably
was-
one of the maddest I've ever seen.
I was
actually.
over 20, so there wasn't much that could
They
be
could say to
right.
you. Yeah.
But I remember Trevor saying, "You don't have to live with my mama."
Listen, okay, I was about to say that. Listen, I was sitting there, and at one point in my head, my
In
anxiety had
Trevor's
gotten to me.
defense, though, he did try to get us to go back earlier. I have to say.
I was so hard trying not to get us in trouble. But I was there going back whenever I saw them. Like when we were just singing and having a good time, I started noticing them. And then they started like pointing. And I was like, oh crap, they're getting pissed. So I quit singing. And my anxiety straight went to shit. We're going to get our asses in trouble. And I'm sitting here going, fuck, I got to go home. My mom is going to be so fucking pissed because she would go from here to like here. And
0 to 100.
0 to
real
100
quick.
real fucking quick. And so I was like, shit, I'm my ass is fucking done. I'm losing driving privileges. I'm fucked. And then they're like,
you couldn't
"Dude."
even drive yet then, could you?
Yeah, I had my permit, or I was right about to get my driver's license because that was 2014, 2015. I don't know. I just knew I was screwed if she flipped her top. And then we heard it from Grandpa, Grandma, everybody was
Mom
pissed.
was mad too. She was
Right.
pissed.
Oh my god.
She's pissed at all of us.
This is a different story. So, me and Tyler and the same friend Josh were riding jet skis on Baden Lake one time.
Oh man.
And there was this dude fishing in a little bass boat. And
Not a tiny. He had like it was like what you would think of a bass, but like the sparkly.
right.
Like, he took it serious, kind of bad. Like.
Right. So, I think me and Tyler were stopped because Josh was way behind us. But we were like, we should try to talk him into riding at that dude and scaring him.
We tried to get him to go as physically close as he could to this boat because the thing on the lake is fishermen hate jet skiers. Most of them,
Hate
or at
'em.
least all the ones that I've met.
Because they're
Fishermen feel like they own the lake.
Right. But so when a jet ski comes by, if they come close, jet skis put out a little bit of a wake, and if it comes to a bass boat, somebody's trying to sit there fishing, the boat's just rocking violently.
Right.
And the boat's just rocking violently.
S-
And so we tried to get them to go as physically close as we could. It was within
Right.
3 or 4 foot,
So-
I'm pretty sure.
So he comes up, catches up to us, and we talk him into it. Like, go ahead. He has no clue.
Yeah,
that-
dude, we're on the lake. Like, what's he gonna do? He can't do anything to you.
And so he floored it right at the dude's boat. And I thought he was going to hit it for a second. Like,
It
he
did look
didn't
like
turn
it.
till the last second.
Right.
And
Dude.
it appeared 3 or 4 feet from where we were. It might have been a little bit further, but from where we were,
It looked close.
it was close.
It was close enough to piss a guy off, I'll tell you that.
And this guy starts waving his arms, cussing.
Throwing his fishing rod down.
And we left him. We left.
Me
We
and
left.
Josh were out of there, dude. But man, I wish we would have got that on video. But dude, the Nelk Boys in the ending of not their last video, but the one before, they said that they were going to do it, and then they didn't freaking upload it.
Right.
That would have been probably my favorite prank they've ever done.
That's my
period.
dream prank.
Mine too. We're gonna have to do it one day ourselves and actually get it on video. It's,
Right.
I mean, we're gonna piss some people off, but I think it'll be worth it.
So, leave us a comment if you guys want to see that prank. Maybe we
Yeah,
can
if you guys want
arrange
to see that would be. That's gonna be a tough. Obviously, it's gonna have to be next year
Right.
in the summer, but I would be down to do it as long as we get it on videos. We got mics we could use for it, so.
Yep.
But back to the rafting story. The reason you brought that up was to show like how I've got the worriness out of my like dad. I got that from him where their parents, from our grandparents, both their moms were more the carefree, and my dad was more the worry wart.
Well,
And I got that.
both of my parents on both sides were the worry-free type. My
Yeah, I know,
dad
that's
even
what
more
I'm
than my
saying.
mom, honestly.
Mhm. But yeah. So are y'all good with the good things that have happened in 2020? Y'all ready to move on to the next topic?
I am personally.
Alrighty.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm straight.
Alrighty. Well, Drew, do you want to go, or do you want me to lead into mine?
You go ahead and lead into yours.
Alright. Well, mine today is actually going to be a pretty cool one. I think it would be cool for each of us to go around and talk about some goals that we want to set for 2021. I
Okay.
think this will be a good
Awesome.
platform for us to stay accountable. And then maybe also in the comments can maybe drop down some of your goals that you're going to try and stick to in 2021. And these don't have to be like broad, like do good at my job. I'm talking like, what do you think as you as a person, like setting goals at the gym, or with me, mine's going to be hopefully here in the next year, maybe helping grow this channel, some stuff like that. So Tyler, do you have some goals that you want to talk about?
Yeah, definitely. As far as the YouTube thing goes, I always want to be growing my personal channel and also this one. I've seen a lot of growth out of my channel already this year, but I really want to step it up in 2021 and actually just really more than anything, I know that I'll get some views. I just got to make more content. And really, that would be my same goal for this channel as well.
Right,
collectively, just getting more content, most amount of content that we can, and it still be okay. Other than that, as far as health wise, obviously everybody always has that New Year's resolution for the gym and stuff. But I actually just started the gym back today. I'd seen some success in 2019 at the gym, and then I threw it all away. It's time to reset. So I got a good restart on that today, and really looking to carry that over into 2021, even though I'm not starting on New Year's.
Right.
But yeah, those are my goals for next year, and just work harder at anything.
Mm-hmm. Drew, you want me to go over mine, or do you want to go over yours?
You can go over yours.
All
We can
right.
go down the line here.
All right, sounds good. My goals for 2021 are going to be more personal goals. Personal improvements I'm hoping to get going. I'm going to try and do better with my anxiety this year. In the last couple of years, I've kind of let it get the best of me, and I've got to start working on myself and get some of that stuff worked out. But I'm going to try and be a better person this year, not just be a little hermit crab. I'm bad about just rolling back into my cave and just letting everything go by, but I'm going to try and get out this year and be a little bit better, do a little bit better this year.
Right.
That's good. To add to that, I'd like to be more open about my personal feelings in 2021. I've been told by everybody, especially people or females that I've been with in the past, that I bottle too much stuff up.
Right.
I'm really bad about that. Like, I don't talk about stuff that really bothers me.
Right.
I like to work on that, but
Gotcha.
It's always good.
Right. So no financial goals. You've been talking about looking at some trucks. Is that a goal of yours for over the next year, Trevor?
Yeah, getting a car,
or
getting a
lewd.
vehicle.
The lewd, maybe
Get
a
a vehicle.
lewd.
I don't know. I haven't made up my mind. I switch my mind around a lot, but I'm gonna keep looking, see what I can find here in the next couple months.
So
hopefully.
that's a goal. A
That is a goal.
vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get a new vehicle. Yeah. Not new, but new to me.
There you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Josh, what kind of goals do you have set for yourself in 2021?
Obviously grow this channel. That's a goal of mine. Grow my business, my family business, which is doing pretty good right now.
Mm-hmm.
More success in my racing career. I want some wins, another championship, and some personal growth. There's always improvement. We can always be a little bit better, guys.
Be a better
It's-
version of ourselves. Yep.
I try to do that on a daily basis. Try to be a little bit better every day, and in the end, it'll work itself out. Over time, you will become a better person. So I like to break it down more than over the year on a daily basis.
Yep. And the better person you are, most of the time you attract other people who are better versions of themselves too.
You do attract what you put out, guys.
Yep.
Yep.
For sure.
And,
For sure. Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
Just put out good vibes. That's always a goal of mine. Put out good vibes.
Yeah, for sure. Like Trevor stepped on or touched a moment ago, if you guys have any goals that you'd like to set for yourself, feel free to drop them in the comments. Again, we really, I know, like everybody says this on YouTube, but we genuinely mean it. Like, we really do like hearing from you guys, and if you guys would drop a comment, It's not for clout. It's literally because we want to hear from you.
I, I want to create a community with you guys. I want to
Build
build this
a strong
together.
community. I want you guys to know more about us. You were saying that
Right.
the other day
Yeah.
on a personal level instead of just a face talking sometimes. But
Right.
and that'll come. Part of that will come over time, obviously. But
Right. Yeah. That's my goal for this. I want the viewers to feel like they're part of this.
right, same.
All right. I think that's all for me. So I guess I'll go into my topic. Is we had a, I guess you could call it a little watch party over here. My homeboy Juice was here virtually with us watching the fight over the weekend, and I just wanted to get some of y'all's personal highlights. What y'all thought?
About the fight?
Yeah,
I thought
the
about
whole
this
fight,
one.
not just
You wanna
Tyson
start at
versus
the very
just the
beginning?
whole- yeah,
Let's start at the
Well,
very first fight.
The Ortiz guy, I feel like his stamina is what won his fight.
right.
And I don't remember the other guy's name. We called him Segway.
Segawa.
Segawa.
Yeah, Ortiz, and that was a pretty good fight though. I mean, it was. I
Mhm.
mean, they went. So yeah, like I said, I think his stamina is what won him the fight. It was a good fight though. They went for a long time. They both got some good stuff in, but
I really think that Ortiz's nickname fit him really well. He was a technician, and he broke down Segawa
yeah,
where he needed to. But Segawa was a fighter.
he
No
was. though.
disrespect, and
Yeah.
he did show a lot of heart at the end of the fight in the later rounds. But
yeah, and he was done already at that point.
Ortiz won too many rounds
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that stamina from Ortiz was just brutal. Segawa.
That Ortiz stamina that he had, or at least in that fight, that if you have that kind of stamina against all your opponents, that's the type of attribute that gets you far in
Right.
boxing. I mean, stamina is a huge deal.
Not just boxing, in all sports. Talent isn't just enough. To be the best, you have to work. hard.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because just because you're talented doesn't mean that you take easy at it. You know.
Some days you aren't gonna have it.
Right.
But I have some of the actual numbers from the fight. The Ortiz threw a total of 426 punches. He landed 121 of them for a 28 percentage of accuracy
What
there.
about?
And then Segawa, he threw 579 punches and only landed 129 of them for 22%.
Yes, Ortiz's defense was
Oh yeah.
beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He kept his hands up and where he needed them.
And even watching the fight, I even said that, if I remember
Mhm.
right.
He did showboat a little bit too much for my liking, but
Yeah. And he paid for it.
he got caught a couple times.
paid
At
for
least
it.
once I know he got caught. But
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing, you can't showboat in the ring. You're there to fight. He took some hard hits there in the body. That shows you. So many people in my experience, a lot of people talk about headshots. Oh, you gotta be careful and cover up your head. Yeah, but that body, if you don't watch it, that body will hurt after a few of them. You can't take but so many in the liver.
if you've ever got just the air knocked out of you,
Mm-hmm.
you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that kid had some soul though to go all 8 rounds. I mean he went right down to the final round, and just that final one got right through and hit him right where it needed to, and it just.
Yes.
Ortiz knew how to throw them when he needed to.
Yes, his combos were beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up landing the body shot and dropped into a knee.
Yeah, I mean you can't take but so much.
So on to the meme of the night.
Yeah.
Or no, the meme was the third fight, wasn't it? Jake Paul was the third fight, was he? Badu Jack. And what was the other guy's name that Badu Jack fought?
Oh, the
McKernan.
yes, the
Blake McKernan.
Israeli army veteran. Yes,
Yes.
that dude.
That was a fight, and a lot of
Yes.
respect. That guy had we were watching it and noticed the tick
Yeah.
before anything was said, and we just thought it was him regaining
Yeah.
regrouping a little bit, just
Yep. Shaking
but
it off, and regaining himself. But
about round 6 in the break time, he was mic'd up, and they said it was a tick from PTSD
hmm
from his time in the army. He developed that tick.
yep. But that dude That dude had some heart.
Badu Jack was the better boxer, but
Yeah, but that dude had heart. He kept, just taking those body hits, and those would drop.
And
any
coming
of the best.
forward.
Yeah, and just kept advancing. And that showed true heart all the way through the final 8th round. He was just giving it his all. Even whenever he got hit hard, he'd just keep coming back. It's
And
kind of, go ahead.
that's another thing I would like to say. All these fights were exciting, guys.
Oh yeah,
This
right.
the
I was
the
let down by the
production was
Jet.
not the greatest as far as camera angles.
Oh, God.
The
But-
referee got in the way a lot, and the lines,
Right.
the ropes.
Well, that was
Yes.
the camera angles. It was horrible.
But-
You think that wouldn't be one of the issues when we talk about no crowd. I'm sure they could have thought of something better.
The actual fights though were exciting.
They were. Jake
Yeah.
Paul's fight kind of let me down.
Well,
But the
Yeah,
rest
exciting
of them were very,
either way though. Even if you were for Jake Paul
We-
or not, when a KO is interesting to watch. Really.
before we go there, I would like to say Badu Jack was also a technician and was the better
Yes.
boxer and outboxed Blake McKernan.
Oh yeah, he did. That
And-
the combos he was throwing would have knocked down many of great opponents.
Yes, yes, yes.
He had a great. His whole platform was great on what he was coming out and producing.
So,
But-
mad respect to both of those guys as well. Now let's get on into the meme of the night. Jake
Yeah.
Paul versus Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
Man, where do we start?
Let's talk about what it really was. Let's not talk about what actually happened. Let's break down who the people were
I'm
that stepped
just gonna
in.
go ahead and say my honest thoughts on this, y'all. I think Jake Paul's trained harder than what people have said he.
Oh, I said that from the get-go. The whole night. Jake Paul has been training, guys.
Mhm.
He has been taking.
I don't think he's a
don't
joke
like him
as
personally.
much as what everybody says is what I'm saying. I don't like him either from some of the stuff he's done, but as a boxer, everybody's laughing. Don't take him serious, but I don't know, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
The
Like,
problem is he still hasn't fought anybody.
He doesn't have a
talented.
record. He doesn't have a record. Essentially,
Nate-
he has his word to stand on, and that's about it. He's got 2 knockouts now,
He
but
did knock out Nate Robinson, but Nate Robinson was
that's,
awful.
that's what
awful.
I'm saying. Let's look at the two boxers as just boxers, not as what they are outside the ring.
what
One is
I
an-
think helped Jake Paul. That dude's got range. He's got long arms. He's pretty tall, long. He's just a
Right.
big guy. You know what I'm saying? Not
Right.
necessarily huge, but
Well, that's part of the problem is Nate Robinson put all of his weight forward
yeah.
and just went
Left him
forward, went
vulnerable
forward,
after
went
his punch.
forward, and was already falling really when he was throwing punches was
Right.
falling, and had zero defense. And
Yeah.
Jake Paul was able just to sit back and pick his spots
Right.
with no defense. He was basically hitting a punching bag.
Yeah. Now, I'll have to say, in Nate Robinson's defense, there's extra pressure when you have somebody who's in the ring with you that is a YouTuber star by
Right.
trade, really.
Right.
Like, if you lose, which I kind of feel bad for him because his career might be ruined, honestly, boxing.
I will say I've read articles where after the fight he was a man and took all the jokes, like went back into the group chats, took all the shit from everybody.
Really?
So
That's good.
respect for that.
It'll be
but
online for a while, though.
for the rest of his life. He'll
Yeah.
be living that down. And it was Jake Paul was trained so much better
Yeah.
than Nate Robinson, which I'm pretty sure Sugar Shane Mosley trains Jake Paul. I think that's his main trainer.
I'm not sure who does.
He did at least for the last fight, I know.
Oh, something else though with the Jake Paul thing. I just am not remembering right, but supposedly he didn't box, but for couple days before or the day of or something because he had some sort of injury. What? Did I hear that?
I think he said his nose was broken or something.
Yeah, that's what it was, and he couldn't box up until that day for the last couple weeks or something.
Right.
That's interesting too. I mean, to have 2 weeks,
Right.
really not as strenuous training. I'm sure he still hit a bag, but not a live person.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how true that is, but if
Right,
it is
I don't
true.
know the validity of it either.
But yeah, so Jake Paul knocked the shit out of Nate Robinson, put him to sleep for a good 30 seconds.
Maybe longer, honestly.
True. Anything you'd like to add there, Trevor?
I think if you look at it as a whole, you couldn't expect much more out of that boxing match than what we got. From what our expectations were, even mine were, I was hoping that Nate was going to be able to come out and actually be able to hold his own, but it just looked like his training just didn't do him any good whatsoever.
At all.
He looked, like you said the other night, it looked like he was street fighting.
His balance was awful.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. That and no defense, but
Yeah. I think if he, with his, what I was hoping was that he was going to bring that, what we were talking about in the fight before, that just being able to last round after round from being an athlete. I was expecting him to be able to bring that into it, and I just think he just didn't have proper training to be able to go into that ring and be able to take what he has and make that beneficial for him. I would like to see if he would be able to get a different trainer and just see what he could do. I mean, I'm not saying that he would be the best in the world, but I would like to see him get another shot if he would like to take that.
I don't think the idea that he was going for was all that bad. It was the execution, because he is short and he did need to get inside.
Yeah.
But the way he went about it was all wrong.
Yeah.
You cannot. He looked like he was trying to tackle, and he looked like he was in a street fight almost.
And if you leave yourself that vulnerable, all it honestly takes is one hit to change the entire fight. If the right hit, he might not go down, but he's going to be messed up.
Right.
I will give it to Jake Paul. His training really did show out. I mean, he showed a lot of restraint in how he approached Nate. Nate would lunge at him. He would hit him a couple times, and now after he fell that second time, if you watched, soon as he kept just getting back up, and then Nate would just lunge at Jake Paul. And so, I mean, he was smart about his attack and how he would just wait, and then he just caught him that final one time whenever he dove in on him, and that was all that it wrote. But I don't know. I will have to give it to Jake for doing his training. It seemed like he had really actually put in the work.
Right.
So,
Yes. Yeah, Matt, I'm not trying to take anything away from Jake Paul either.
no.
I just personally don't care for the guy. I think he is a smart ass
He's
over
cocky.
the top. But
Yeah. But I'll give credit where credit's due. I mean, it seemed like he did do his training. So, I mean,
I think he's taking boxing serious.
he definitely is. He wants to be a boxer. Supposedly he's quit YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. But
He'll always have the following there, so it's not really quitting. I mean, once you get so many million people subscribing to you, like, you're never...
they're just
You
switching
always
to
have a
different-
following,
They're
you know
just
what I'm
going to
saying?
switch to whatever platform
Right.
you're uploading. You're never going to be
Exactly.
out of the limelight.
Exactly.
I mean,
And you're even from other people videoing you.
unless
Like,
you get hit by cancel culture,
Right. then something.
he about did. He went through that once. But,
Talk about with the forest.
Well,
Mhm.
that was Logan
yeah.
Paul, not Jake Paul.
Well,
Yeah.
I know, but it still affected him being his brother. I mean, everybody was having a close eye on both of them.
Oddly, I would say, well, we'll keep it on the fight. Okay,
But
so
yeah.
moving on to the
Main
main
event.
card.
Yep.
Main event. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
Oh man, isn't it crazy saying, like, we're gonna be able to go back to our kids and say we watched a Tyson fight? I know they were older now. They're older now, but just to be able to say that we watched a Tyson fight, it's pretty
Well,
cool.
That
Live.
makes
I
two
don't-
I've watched.
Well, that's true. But still,
yeah.
15, 16 years out of retirement, obviously he didn't probably plan on coming back when he left.
I don't think he was done whenever he left, but I
Yeah.
think he's gonna fight again. To be
I
honest,
think he lost himself.
I think it's
Oh,
a
he
big part of
definitely-
him. It's a way. It's an out for him. If the
That's
way
his thing.
it seems like Mike. Whenever you look at the old tapes of Mike Tyson, it looks like he was just a guy that had a lot of built-up anger, and that was his way of getting it out was boxing.
Right.
And for somebody who learns an out like that, me especially, if I have a way of getting out energy or something like that, and it helps me release anger or any type, it helps you just mentally speaking, it helps you get out of that. For him to just quit that, no wonder he went to what he went to. And I think that was part of his downfall, to be honest. It didn't help.
Right.
Yeah.
But
It was also obvious in that fight. Nothing against Roy Jones Jr. either. I'm sure that he trained rigorously too.
yeah.
But it seemed fairly obvious that Mike Tyson was the better fit of the two. Now, granted, he also was in a bigger weight class.
Well,
Oh,
he
yeah.
he weighed in at 220.4, and Roy Jones Jr. weighed in at 210. But
Roy Jones, most of his career was a lighter guy, though.
Right. Yep, and I also got to give it to Tyson that he's been out of the ring for 15, 16 years, dude. To step back in for somebody who was in 3 and somebody who's successful too.
Right.
That's saying something, man.
But the combo that Roy Jones threw in about round 6 was so beautiful.
It was definitely
So
beautiful. It was beautiful. Tyson on basically the fight though overall. I know that they called a draw, but
I think Tyson just wanted it more than Roy Jones Jr. To be honest, I think it was like they were talking about in the beginning of the fight. I forget the dude's name. One of the announcers was talking about it. You got to have it in your heart to want to do what they do when they step in that ring.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was really apparent. You could tell that Mike Tyson wanted that fight. He
yeah.
wanted to be in that ring, and I think he'll be back. But Drew, what were your feelings on the fight?
I thought that the comment in the interview post-fight was hilarious when the interviewer asked Roy Jones, how did it feel getting back into the ring? And Mike, how does it feel? He fought 2 years ago.
nobody cared about my
Nobody
ass.
care about my ass. I ain't been in the ring 15 years.
Yep.
He's right though.
When they
He's
were asking
right,
about
though.
if he was
as soon as
scared.
that guy said that, I was like, dude, Tyson's been on way longer.
Just the way nobody care about my ass. I'm not a beginner. I'm new.
I'm new at this.
I'm not
again.
an expert. I'm new to this. I'm a beginner.
Mm-hmm.
I love Mike Tyson, dude. That dude is humbled up big time.
And
Big time.
it is confirmed Mike Tyson did have a huge after party with his pigeons after the fight.
No
Yes.
way.
200 of his closest pigeon friends
No
just
way.
partying it up.
That is
I
Getting
wonder
awesome.
what type
lit.
of bird seed he put him on last night.
Some of
high
that-
protein.
I'm sure it was some of that gourmet, you know what I'm saying?
Dude,
Yeah.
that is awesome, man. But
But,
yeah, he was super humble, and the fact that he Mike Tyson of old was not the guy who would compliment the other guy no matter
Right.
what. Like it was like,
It was bite
if
your
this
ear off and
person's
walk
blue,
out the ring.
I'm black. You know what I'm saying? It's like no.
It was a war. He was going to war.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And he still went to war in the fight, but after the fight, the difference is now he's obviously matured a lot and he can turn it off.
Did y'all notice after that combination, the fire that came out of
Oh,
Mike
yeah,
Tyson?
that's
you could
true.
tell that switch just got flipped. When Roy Jones Jr. did that combination, you could just see it like snapped in him. And
He
was
got
like,
hit
"I'm
in the
going."
nose.
Yep.
That's what
But-
it was.
Right?
Did you notice that, Drew?
Yeah, I sure did.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun night.
Yep.
It
I hope
was
to experience it again.
Good fellowship with us watching it too. That's
Mhm.
it'd be cool to watch a resurgence in boxing. I mean, it's seeming, and that's another thing I'll have to say with the Jake Paul thing too. That brought a lot to the
Yeah.
his following. Obviously, a lot of them are going to come watch that fight. That brought a lot to the boxing. People that have never been into it before might be more apt to now.
It's
So,
just so hard for boxing to compete with MMA because you're getting more blood, more
Mm-hmm.
more
Yeah.
gruesome.
It's more gore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's hard, but for people who actually understand and appreciate the sport of boxing,
It's an art,
the
really.
techniques,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the strategy, it's way deeper than.
It's cool.
Which I'm not saying MMA isn't. It's just different.
It's just old school, rough, tough. Like it's both are strategic. They're just their own
It's
sport.
different
It's their
types,
literally their
yeah.
own sport.
You
Yeah.
just got these two guys right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Two fists. I thought it was funny when Mike pretended to give that little fake kick. Did y'all notice that in the fight?
Oh,
He was sitting there, and Roy Jones Jr. did his little feet, and Mike went to do like his fake kick.
Right.
That was something funny I thought of.
I did hear Jake Paul call out Conor McGregor,
I saw
and
that, yeah.
Conor will fuck Jake Paul up.
I don't
I
know,
want to see
dude.
this.
I
Well,
don't
Hold
know.
on. Let me cancel that out for YouTube. Conor McGregor will screw Jake Paul up.
I
I
would
don't know,
love to see
man.
that fight.
I would have to say that he would have the upper edge, but I don't know if he'd completely just.
If
I'm
McGregor-
telling you, man. If he stays as passionate about it as he seems, Jake Paul. I mean, I think he's gonna be good. I do. I do.
I don't think though, like me and Drew were talking about. I'm gonna let Drew talk more about it. He brought it up the other day. There's stages that you have to go through. I think.
There's levels,
Mm-hmm.
as the announcer said. There's levels to this, and you got to. Conor McGregor's been doing this since he was 15.
Right. But the thing about McGregor is, and I said this back when he fought Mayweather,
Mm-hmm.
he's not as good as he thinks he is.
Well, no, but what me and Drew were talking about.
You haven't
is-
seen him fight since then, though.
I haven't.
He had to find himself and
Mhm.
recreate himself, and he's a completely different person than he was.
I think it would
That's a good
benefit
thing.
Jake Paul fighting people below McGregor and making a name for himself before he just calls out McGregor. I think
Like,
that's a rite of passage.
Conor McGregor held 2 belts in 2 different weight divisions. You
Yeah, no,
just
he's-
don't get to call him out.
Yeah.
No, I
Well,
agree.
just
I agree.
because
There
he's
should be a
world
step
champion.
up.
There's
I
a
know. I
difference.
agree that.
Huge
to
difference
that.
in Nate Robinson and Conor McGregor.
Big
Right.
difference.
While I don't want to disrespect Jake Paul, that was a publicity stunt. Nate
Mhm.
Yeah.
Robinson was not ready to fight.
No. No, not one bit.
But when they agree to do it, I mean,
Yeah, but then it's one of those. It's if somebody comes knocking at your door and calls you out, are you just gonna sit there and take it, or are you gonna go, okay, let's do this?
And
But
also,
what
getting
I'm
in
saying
worse
is,
gets
if
changed.
but
paid
what I'm saying is,
a couple million
Yeah.
to do it.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, I know y'all say he didn't have enough time. I mean, I'm sure that was agreed upon. Was the amount of time between? I mean, if he agreed to
I'm
it.
not saying it's
No,
not
I'm-
enough time. I'm just saying Jake Paul hasn't fought anybody, so like
He doesn't have the
we
record
need to
to
calm
have it.
down our expectations a little bit.
Mhm.
In my opinion, just because
I agree. I agree that he should have to go through people before. I'm just saying I do think
I-
that he has the ability to make it good in boxing. I do.
I would
just
like
needs
to
to go
see him
through.
fight somebody with actual skill.
Mhm.
Right.
That's the next step.
Not just going straight to one of the top.
Well, time will tell what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Time will tell. I'm not saying that he deserves to go straight and to be able to fight Conor McGregor either. I agree with you on that. I'm just saying I do think that if he keeps the passion that he has seemingly now, that he could get there eventually. That's my thought.
Possibly.
Maybe we will see.
Mhm.
We will see.
Yep.
I
I think that's gonna wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching, listening. I want to say thanks to our subscribers, thanks to our viewers.
Yep. And to the viewers who are not subscribers, change yourself into a subscriber. It's a cool club to be in, guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, it is.
Come on. But yeah, thank you guys again. I know this has been a long one. If you've made it here to the end, you are a freaking trooper. You're awesome. Thank you for sticking it to the end.
And I love you. I love
Absolutely.
you for it.
From right here.
Yep. So
And
peace
love.
out, guys. Peace and love.
Peace, love, and blessings,
No crabs.
and happy. Well, we'll be on here before Christmas. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Yes. But y'all have a good one.
Peace out.